SARMs are something that we get asked about all the fucking time from kids. And I'm like, listen.
Are you guys getting questions on SARMs at all?
Oh, yeah. We want to know about SARMs.
I want to know about SARMs. The thing is, I actually don't get many questions on it because hardly anyone knows about it, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to me because
we get a lot.
See, I've actually heard a lot of like good stuff about them, like how they're a very like safe alternative to steroids. Now, I'm like, I just won't go down either route. I don't want to mess with any of it. But you guys, it sounds like you guys are against it. Like, you think that anabolics would be like better health wise than SARMs?
100%.
Well, we know so testosterone's been
a lot more tested.
We've been synthesizing testosterone for a long time. We know what testosterone does in the body. We know you contain it naturally. We know what giving more of it will do to you. We know what the side effects are. We know all that stuff. A SARM is a chemical that was these are chemicals that were just developed. They're designed to attach to the androgen receptor. That's what SARM stands for, a selective androgen receptor modulator. So they're designed to attach to the receptor that testosterone would, but they're not testosterone, and they're not going to exert androgenic effects, the masculinizing effects that you'll get from testosterone. And the goal of these was to give you the anabolic effects without the androgenic effects, and to not affect your HPA axis. So in other words, taking a SARM, what they want to do is give you a SARM and then your testosterone doesn't drop like you would if you took anabolic steroids.
Man, this is sounding great, man.
Sounds great. Doesn't work that way. First and foremost, the studies, it's all preliminary, by the way. None of it's been approved. So I wouldn't fuck with anything that hasn't been approved. Not only that, but it hasn't been around very long. So even after it's approved, wait 50 years and see what happens. There are drugs that have been legal for years that we take off the market all the time because we learn about them. So we don't know what these things really will do.
What is the rate on that? So because a lot of people don't know what it is. It's like every day.
I think every day with like multiple drugs every single day will get taken off the market.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that we've already approved, that we find. I mean, look at like proton pump inhibitors like Pepsid, was it Pepsid AC or whatever, the heartburn stuff?
Yeah.
We know now that is connected to Alzheimer's and dementia later on.
That's what got me off it. I was like, oh, shit.
Those are over the counter. They've been legal forever, right?
Are SARMs even legal? Can you get them?
SARMs are gray market, meaning they're legal for research purposes, but not to be sold to humans to use. So what these companies are doing is they're going online and they're selling them as research chemicals, and then kids are buying them, and it's all fucked up. And it's going to go.
You don't need like a certificate or some shit?
No.
You
And so
it's terrible.
My theory on that, and it's not like I'm definitely not recommending people one or the other. It's my personal experience is that I would rather take the risk if I'm going to put myself there, right? So I've competed, right? So I'm a pro men's physique athlete. And in order to be at the professional level, you've got to take testosterone. There's just we talked about this off.
Right, yeah, we talked about it. This is one of the reasons that I don't want to compete because I'm very competitive. I would want to be a pro. I would want to win pro shows. And now, it didn't used to be like this a couple of years ago, but now you have to be on anabolics in order to
physique,
compete, right?
Yeah.
Right, just for physique. I'm not talking Phil Heath bodybuilding Olympia. I'm talking about men's physique. They're that big now.
Yeah, well, there's only one guy that I know personally that is natural on the Olympia stage. Everybody else is, I know most of them are on anabolics, and openly so. It's not like it's this hidden secret. It's pretty fucking obvious.
Who's the natty guy?
Yeah, who's
Arya Safai?
Yeah, but when did he go pro?
Oh, Arya's been a pro for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not. He has a great physique, absolutely. But I'm saying, like,
well, he still wins pro because at Olympia you got to requalify every year, so he's still winning first place shows.
That's insane.
There are some. Arya is like that's the reason why we invited him on the show.
He's just got to be genetically gifted.
Well, he's genetically gifted.
There's people out there
that
have got ridiculous. Phil Heath, if he never took a single drug in his life and lifted weights, he would still be massive as fuck. Yeah, he'd still be ridiculous.
Well, you saw him when he played basketball, right? Yeah. I mean, he's bigger than I've ever been when he played basketball.
I have a friend, a good friend. He trains a lot of guys, and so he has some people in the. Some people are pros. He's like a coach, like physique and bodybuilding coach, and he was a pro as well. And he told me, man, he said, man, I gave some guys roids, and he didn't give them roids. All right, sorry. They took it, right? Yeah. And they still couldn't get their pro card. And then other guys without it, got their pro cards. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes
genetics plays the
biggest role. Genetics number one. I mean, steroids doesn't even come in top 3. I mean, there's so many other factors that are more important before that. So
that's top 3. What's the top 3?
Well, for sure genetics, and then diet and programming, and then I'd say anabolics in that order, just like that.
Yeah, because we were talking on the plane earlier. I know some guys that I know are on anabolics, and man, they look like shit.
They look like shit.
A lot.
But their diet,
it's like insane to me how, like, wow, like either you have horrible genetics, you got to be doing something
not doing it
really
right.
wrong.
They're
Well,
not magic.
What's popular, and this is part of what inspired the show. So I fucked around with anabolics in my early 20s and fucked up my testosterone forever. So I actually I've been on HRT since I was 30 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went and got tested. At one point, I realized, like, man, my sex drive just took a shit. And I was young. I'm still 30 years old. It shouldn't feel like this. Went and had it tested, and I was like 230, and that was from all the anabolics that I took in my 20s.
Gotcha.
Right.
So I talk openly about it on the show to share with kids that it's not what you think it is. And I look like shit when I was in my 20s. I was taking so much trying to figure this out, thinking that was the missing piece. And that was why I couldn't look like this cover of this magazine. But it was really not that. It was all the things I just named off. Like, one, I don't have bodybuilding genetics. I'm built like a basketball player. Like, that's I played basketball my whole life. I'm lanky or to swim in a pool. You know, that's what I was supposed to do. So I'm a disadvantaged genetically. I wasn't eating correctly. I wasn't programming well. So, and then thinking that testosterone was going to get me there, and it never did.
But it ruined your.
I got gynecomastia. I had watched my sex drive go down. It was absolutely. It was, but I didn't see that till later. You know, it was until my late 20s that I really realized that I had done something wrong.
What you need to understand is whenever you introduce something into your body, anything that has an effect on the body, your body will aim to adapt to that. It always aims to.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. If you take something that has an effect, your body will aim to adapt to it. If I'm taking a hormone from outside my body, if I'm taking testosterone, my body senses high levels of testosterone, and it attempts to balance them out by shutting down my own levels of testosterone. And for many men, they're never the same afterwards. Many men. And people don't talk about that. People say, oh, you take a few cycles, you bounce back, no big deal. The truth is you can do damage to things like your Leydig cells. You can damage just your HP axis can be thrown off. And now you find yourself, 5, 6, 7 years later, and you don't have the same drive, motivation. You can't figure out why you're. And SARMs do the same thing. These talks about SARMs not lowering testosterone are bullshit because the doses that are used in studies are like 1/100th of what dudes are taking to try and build muscle off of them. They are doing some stupid shit. They're way better off taking steroids because at least we know what the steroids are going to do to them. We have no idea what these SARMs are doing.
Right. So that's your main thing against SARMs, right? There's not like research that has shown that they're bad. It's just it's really risky, and you would rather do stuff that you know will not.
And when you're fucking with those things too, we're not talking about some creatine taking or trying out some branched amino acids or fucking around with some pre-workout. You're fucking with your hormones. Like that's not an area that I want to like take a chance on. And if I'm gonna take a chance, I'm gonna take a chance on something that we can read some research on and say, okay, this is how I need to do this. If I'm gonna do this correctly. There's just not. I mean, you have
everybody's guessing that.
Yeah, exactly. There's forums out there for SARMs, and people are out there guessing, but we don't have 5-10 years of research on this, and the fact that a lot of this stuff is other companies threw it out. Let's say they don't even want this, and then these people are going and picking it up, and then they're changing like one.
Oh, some of these SARMs have already been not approved. Some of these SARMs that people are taking are already ones that FDA and other organizations are saying, no, we're not going to approve that. But they still have the chemical composition. They're still selling them as research chemicals.